Shalawam. I'll start by saying Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi. 4 times for mercy. All praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well in sincerity, taught us this truth. Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. All right, calling on the true names of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash, and serving him and seeking him. All right, 100%. Okay, not letting the world distract them or not letting, things pull them away and playing both sides of the fence, being lukewarm. All right. As always, those are the names that we call on. Those are the correct names. Those are the proper names. And those are the names that we have to call on to receive salvation, along with the doctrine and the complete understanding, the 100% understanding of this thing. All right. The lesson today will be demons are attacking our families and us, man. And Shalawam to the brother in the car. Shalawam. Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Barak, Ahtham, you and your household. So, this morning, my wife was on her way to work. She's a teacher and all of that, but she was on her way to work, and these YNs, basically, I guess she said they pulled up on the left of her at a stoplight and started gang banging, like throwing signs, and I'm not from out here. I'm from North Carolina, South Carolina area. So I've been in Cali, like I came out to Cali, North Cali, 2016, right? And I've never encountered any in the Bay Area. It's not really gang like that, So I never encountered any type of action like that, except like one time when I was in Inglewood. So, and I came down here like 2019. Okay, so it never fazed me, but it's just demons, man. At the end of the day, okay, it's a damn demon. So they was throwing gang signs at her at the light, and she saw it. She just looked straight, she praying, and then the light turned green. She's driving. She's going. She stops at Target. These, hey, and they bitches. At the end of the day, they gonna circle her car 3 times, right? So she calling on the names. She praying. She ain't get out. You know what I'm saying? Let's get these bug outs out of here. But she's calling on the names and everything, and she don't get out. She using wisdom in the situation. So they eventually leave. And she said the car might have been stolen or whatever because it was some YNs looking 19, 18, 20. She said it was a Issacharite and probably a Judite brother, right? A so-called black and a so-called Mexican, right? And it was just demons, man. Out of all the people in the town, in the city, you choose to mess with my wife. You choose to harass her, right? And we're not even involved in anything like that, man. It was a straight demon, man. This is why brothers, we pray and we pray constantly. I prayed last night. I always pray every night. I pray for brothers. I pray for my family. Pray for myself. We pray for protection, that we can call on the name, that when we need them, you know. And let's get this precept from the brother. Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28. There be spirits that be created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. You know, and I feel like we're in a time of heavy demonic attacks where demons is going to start attacking us and our families. I felt something yesterday. I had to fight this damn demon off me, man, like a depression demon trying to jump on me, you know, but it is what it is. Fought it off, right? So you just have to fight these things off, man, and they gonna come. It's gonna be many trials and tribulations. Let's get those. Let me get my sword over here because I get the Apocrypha. All right, first let's go to the book of Psalms, man. And Shalawam Nakaf, if you could get me in Job, where Job basically made sacrifices for his kids, you know, because that came to my mind as well. As a matter of fact, in the book of Job, I want to get something, because this is how I was feeling before I addressed that whole situation. This is how I was feeling yesterday in a sense. And I guess we feel it. It doesn't matter what goes on, but we feel this type of stuff sometimes. This is Job 23 and 20. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom power hath hedged in? For my sighings cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither have I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Just a sense of so much vexation beating down on us, so much, you know, and of course being grateful for all the blessings that we have, everything that we have. But it's like we just got that feeling of wanting to leave at the end of the day. I'm just tired of this place, man. And Ecclesiastes first chapter, I'm gonna go over there because we have that. We're not, this is not a comfortable position. Now we get comfort through this word. All throughout, hate in this place. You know, if a brother is down here happy-go-lucky, you loving it down here, then you ain't in the right spirit, man. I don't see how a person could actually love this place and walk around with a big-ass Kool-Aid smile on your face, man. This is Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. And let's start at 14. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Regardless, you go to a plantation, you work, you get this, you get that, you know, you get a couple accomplishments or whatever, but it's all vanity. You still in slavery. You still got to go and serve the so-called, you know, YT man in that sense, physically. You have to wake up and go to his job and work in his vineyard, and you can't reap the benefits of your own labor. Everything you're doing, he's reaping the majority of your works. He's reaping the majority of your efforts, right? You can build cars, or you can landscape, you can do all of this, but he's gonna get a piece of it. He's gonna get the majority of it, right? You can have your little business, but you got to pay the business tax. You got to pay this and that, man. So it's all, at the end of the day, it's vexation. You will never reap the full reward. And that's going into the curses. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and 30. Okay, keeping it going. So it's vexation of spirit. You're going to feel it. But you got Jake in the world, they complacent with it, and they deny it and they kick it, and they like, oh, well, I can do this and I can do that, whatever. But they're not being realistic about their situation of slavery, of captivity. These Christians are not realistic about the situation. POWs, prisoners of war. They just deny that fact, right? Verse 15, that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wantoning cannot be numbered. This right here, this whole society, this whole environment is crooked. You cannot make this straight. It has to be destroyed. They tried to save Babylon, but we can't save her, right? Lamentations 4:17. You crying out for a city. This city, it ain't meant to be saved. You're calling out for a city that's not meant to be saved. For you, on the same nature, for you jakes that are complacent and caught up in your jobs and caught up in this so-called life, thinking that this is your rest, this is a place to settle, right? When, like I said, damn demons was attacking my wife this morning. That could simply happen to anybody, and it could get worse. You really don't have no type of control over these things, man. This is not a safe place for you and your family. If you think it is, that's an illusion in your mind. This is Babylon, man. This is the valley of the shadow of death. A lot of death happens here. All right. 16. I communed with my own heart, saying, lo, I am come to great estate. I have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. The more you know, the more you understand, the more you hate this place. The more you get into the secret societies and the rituals and sacrifices, things they do, the more you understand of the suffering that's going on in this place, of your fellow brothers and sisters. The more you learn about how the food is poisoning, what's in the chemtrails, what's really affecting you, what's creating ailments, how AIDS was created, these type of stuff, man. The more you know, and you know that it can't be really stopped in this way, we gotta wait on our king. So that is what we're really cleaving on to, that wedding, to get up out of here, to go in the secret chambers. Not a physical, escape or physical salvation, but more so a spiritual sense. We are spiritual men, right? That's why when physical problems happen to us, we go spiritual. That's why when those YNs circled my wife's car this morning, she prayed to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. She ain't get out the car and be like, leave me alone or whatever. No, she got spiritual with it. When carnal things happen, we get spiritual. We have to keep in that mindset to be spiritual above all things. All right, brother, you got that Job for me? Are you dropping them? Hey, the water for all you brothers dropping precepts. This is Job 1:5. And it was so when the days of their feasting were gone about that Job sent and sanctified them and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, if maybe that my sons have sinned and cursed power in their hearts, thus did Job continually. And that's what I'm talking about. This is why we make our bodies as living sacrifices. So, hey, maybe, our kids, our wife, or whatever might have did something to offend Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So we ask for that forgiveness. Being the head, these are the people I'm leading over. Hey, please forgive them. The same way that Moses begged and pleaded for us when we was in the desert. We taking on that same position. This is just a qualification period for us to be priests, for us to be kings. We are begging for our people. We are pleading for our people. So you have to make those living sacrifices. You have to hit the corners. You have to produce these works. It's bigger than you. It's not just for you. Yeah, you're working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. But hey, if it may be, then you're also being that Lord, that master over your wife and that leader over your kids, and you're getting them up out of here as well. Because hey, being realistic, we want our families to go with us in the chambers. We want our families to make it with us. That 1/3. We don't want to just go up by ourselves. That's selfish. As a man, you're supposed to take care of your family. Yahawah loves when a man and a woman comes together. This is an order that he has set up for reproduction. All right. So this is a beautiful thing. Let's keep it going. Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahawah said unto them, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark, a thawah, upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations. And that's what we're doing. That be done in the midst thereof. Because while men are sighing and crying, why are we sighing and crying? Because of vexation of spirit. We are crying out. It don't mean we crying boo-hoo, and brothers can shed tears. There's nothing wrong with that, but we are more so crying in the sense of preaching, pushing it out. All right. And Salaki, I gotta get a charger real quick. Put it on this charger right here. The water. Yep. All right, we all good. Forgot that was there. All right, so we are sighing and crying in the sense of preaching. Every time you're preaching and doing a lesson, you sighing and crying out. You are begging. We have to get in that sense of begging. When you come into this thing forever and always in this thing, you are begging Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You are begging, right? You messed up. As a woman that messed up in some form or fashion, she begs, she humbles herself that maybe her husband will take her back. We want to be took back in. We want to be brought in. All right. And we have to be made what? Purified. Taken upon like Esther when she was about to get married. What? She bathed in oils, right? For a long period of time to be purified, to be clean, to be made ready for the wedding, to be made ready for that moment, right? So we is the same way, man. You got to look at yourself as a woman. You got to look at yourself as a woman getting ready for a man, because we are a bride getting ready for the bridegroom. If you can't humble yourself down and be meek and understand your role, then you ain't in this thing. You want to go another different way. You a thief and a robber. You're not going to make it. All right? There ain't no other way but that straight gate, the correct way in. All right? Get y'all brothers precepts. 2nd Ezra 16-74. 7:4. Hear, O ye, my beloved, saith Yahawah, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for power is your God. So when these situations happen, when these demons are attacking, we have to call on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It's a precept. He shall sustain you. He shall sustain you. I want that. Let me see. I think it's in Psalms. He should sustain you in everything you do. This is Psalms 55:22. Cast thy burden upon Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So what is sustaining? Let's get that word. It goes into stability. What is stability? Stable. It's a strong foundation, a good structure. Sustain, to seize, contain, measure, to support, nourish. That's what we want to be. We want to be nourished. Endure, to help endure, to be supplied, to contain, hold in. That's beautiful. What comes to mind is Isaiah 65:13. This is a spiritual definition of being sustained. Therefore, thus saith Yahawah power, behold, my servant shall eat, we shall be sustained, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, we shall be sustained, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed, we shall be sustained. Rejoice means that our spirits are going to be comforted in all times of peril and struggles. Our spirits are going to be took care of. Food and drink, okay, whatever. But more so, our spirits, man, have to be held up and lifted up in times where you seeing bodies everywhere. If you ever dealt with a dead body or a dead animal or carcass, it stinks. All right, so it's gonna stink. It's gonna smell like death in the air. All right, everywhere. That's how it's gonna be in America, Babylon, right? It's not a soft environment. All right, losing people. You're gonna lose multiple family members like that. And you could say right now, yeah, but you never dealt with that before. You never dealt with that before. Just losing people back to back to back. I'm talking about 10, 15 cousins, aunties, uncles, grandmother, grandfather, brothers, sisters. It's going to be a lot of sorrow that's affecting your spirit, that's attacking you. So if we ain't ready for these little minuscule battles right now, then that right there is, that's going to trump us. That's going to, trump. That's funny. All right, because Nero is in order. He's in power right now, and yeah, he's in order because he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's the funny thing about it. But those things are going to trump us if we're not right in the spirit, right? The water for that one, that was a good precept. All right, the brother said, Benjamin Franklin is well known for his quote, "In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." They tax us to death, most definitely. Exactly, man. Taxation. And that goes back to tribute. We are tributaries, right? When somebody gets took over, especially, I'll be playing this little game on, what is it? Bannerlords 2. It's like this war game, and you take over people, and then if you lose the war, you have to pay tribute to this nation until you want to fight them again, basically, right? So you have to pay tribute, and they basically give you the order. They be like, okay, you got to pay us $10,000 a month, until we say no, right? And you can deny it, and then you still got to fight the war, right? So we are paying tribute. We are paying taxes. This goes with war. It's synonymous with war, right? We got invaded. Understanding that Northern Kingdom got invaded, Southern Kingdom got invaded because we got captured and sent over here, So taxes is the same as tribute. It's the same, and it's synonymous with war. It's the same with defeat. And it's all about the curses, which is why this happened to us. Okay? Pride, us being disobedient, us denying Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and playing the harlot. All right, at the end of the day. So let's keep it going. Brother said, Mark, just listen. Oh, somebody was in here calling on the name of, the letter J was created in 1524. Listen to the brother, man. All right, 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. And that should be a motto. That should be, our main point, right? When anything is attacking us. And brothers, don't sit here and act like you all gangster and hard and all of that. Like your spirit can be affected, okay? Your spirit can definitely be affected. Your mood can be affected. These things do happen. I think, I've been seeing lately a trend, mental health in the so-called Black community, right? We understanding that we are mentally, especially Jakes in the world, are mentally unstable. That goes with being effeminate and soft. When you're mentally messed up, then you're more affected by things. You're more subjected to just act crazy because you have no rule over your spirit, as the scriptures say. So you're like a city broken down, right? Sustain, brother got the definition. Sustaining, transitive, provide the necessities of life to, give support to, an effort or cause, also in physical senses. Keep from falling or sinking, hold up or upright. And scriptures talk about us being upright, being blameless men, being righteous men, right? So Proverbs 18:10, man. We call on Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi to sustain us. Let's get that. Proverbs 18:10. The name, let's start at 6. All right. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. You know, so lashes, man, to get beat, to get chastised, to get corrected if you're moving foolishly, right? You know, the water Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, my wife wasn't moving foolishly and try to go back and forth with these so-called gangbangers, man. I don't even believe in that shit, man. You know, that shit is weak. All right. You need like you're not bad. You wouldn't do the shit by yourself. You need a group of men to do some shit. But you can't one-on-one. You know, that's weak. That's always been weak to me, man. All right. But that's what they own. But she know not to be contentious with them. They some YNs. Let them be. You never know what they got. All right. They could have had weapons in the car. All right. If it's a stolen car, then they out of their mind. They already on a crash out mission. They already want to do whatever. You know, they already feel like they probably going to jail anyway or something like that. So it's a demon that's already a messing with them. And this is what brothers have to discern, and sisters, man. Discern demons when you dealing with somebody. Discern demons. Discern the actions. All right? Really, really look into that. Be like, yeah, this brother probably got a demon on him. He talking crazy. There was a brother that came up to me in camp yesterday, and I noticed him before he came up. He was just talking to himself. So when he got up, I was already on guard just because of what happened to the brother, you know, in all ways. But what happened to the brother, Ayan, you know, the stabbing situation, and then what happened to Elder Manatazabak out there in South Carolina with that dude coming up. So, you know, and brothers should be more vigilant, right? Looking over your shoulders, not being paranoid. We ain't paranoid. We trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi at the end of the day, but we are cautious. We are alert. So I peeped him come up, and then he just wanted a pound. I'm like, all right, you know, but I peeped him, and I was like, talking to himself. He seemed crazy. That's a demon. That's a demon that's tormenting him. When you see these people talking to themselves, yelling out, blurting out like they got Tourette's, that's a demon. It's attacking them. It's tormenting them. They're being tormented with demons. So be careful. Watch yourself. All right? Damn, what's that movie with Denzel? In the movie, he's like, time is on my side. Yes, it is. What's that joint, man? Brothers know what I'm talking about, where like the demon jumps from people, weak people that's constantly in sin. The demon jumps from one to another, you know. And I saw a little video of a demon actually doing that. Demons do move in that sense, right? And we could get a spiritual account. We can get a scriptural account of that, where the demon was during the time of Elijah, I believe, or Jezebel. What's her name? Jezebel. And the demon was talking to Yahawah. No, basically an angel was talking to Yahawah. And he was like, let me go down and possess him. And boom, boom, boom. Brothers know the story I'm talking about. So that's what happens. The angels, the Halalyam, evil angels, right? Righteous angels, whatever, come down and possess, take over, you know. And righteous angels can come down in a physical form as well, as we saw in the book of Tobit, right? So, you know, they can move how they want to. But possession, demonic possession, which is the point being of my little rant, is that demonic possession does happen. Okay? People actually get possessed by demons. It's not far-fetched. It's not fake. It's very real. All right? And if you're not spiritually built up in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, then you will be affected. Like you said, a dude just came in here calling on the name of Jesus. Well, he's calling on a demonic spirit. He's calling on a false power. He's got a demon on him, a demon. It's great delusion in him because his spirit is not built up in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So therefore, demons easily enter his vessel, his temple. We are all worshiping something. Even if you're an atheist, you're worshiping something. You're worshiping, I guess, just life in general. You're like science. You're probably worshiping science if you're atheist, right? We choose to worship the living power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Some people choose to worship a false power, Jesus Christ, or Yahweh, or Yeshua, or Yahusha, or Yahosha, right? So we all are worshiping something. This is a temple, and your soul is in it, and you're worshiping something at all times, right? Get y'all brothers' precepts, man. I'll wrap it up. I feel like the point has been made, just to constantly stay in communication with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and constantly pray over your families, over your children, for brothers that, like my kids, I homeschool my kids, but for brothers that got kids that go to school, that's a whole nother battlefield. Because I personally did after school programs where, I worked there before, and these kids, I'm talking about in kindergarten, are wicked. They twerking, they cussing, they doing all type of, I'm like, yo, we was not like this in kindergarten. They are just terrible these days, man. And that goes with kids being disobedient to parents, lovers of themselves, obsessed with themselves. All right. What's that? 2 Timothy 2nd chapter, I believe. But let's get this precept. Proverbs 17:28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Yeah, if you just shut up, nobody will know. You won't know you're a fool till you blurt out some bullshit. All right? And let's keep going with this. A fool's mouth. Verse 7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. So he speaks himself into a trap, right? That's why I'm saying my wife was displaying wisdom, because she didn't go back and forth with these YNs. All right? Well, they was being foolish, just doing all of this and doing all of that, right? Trying to get themselves hemmed up. And they did, okay? Because when you mess with brothers, you mess with brothers' families, you mess with brothers' kids, you are hemming yourself up spiritually, and Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi will bring that upon you, that judgment, right? It will happen. Exodus 14:14, he will fight for us, okay? So trust and believe that when somebody is messing with us, they messing with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. So it's going to come back to them regardless, whether they be preserved for the nukes or they get a judgment quicker than that. All right? So thou shalt not touch thy anointed and their families, those that they are over holding authority over, those that they are ruling over. So you better be very careful how you speak about brothers that's doing this truth, man, and their families. So these YNs chose the wrong person to mess with this morning, man. Why are you messing with a lady? Like, if you so tough, go bang on somebody that's actually banging. Even in the world, I remember, gang banging people, they would say, you don't mess with no civilians. You trying to bang on my wife? What the fuck? That's weird. A school teacher. What? You a gangster though. You banging on school teachers. These niggas is clowns. They clowns, man. Verse 8. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. And that's the eye. Their eye, man, is full of darkness. Okay? Their bellies, we got living waters coming out of us. Understand that. They got some trash coming out of their shit. Everything they speak is polluted. We can't even tolerate it. We don't even want to hear it. And we just know you lying. We know you on bullshit. By how you speak, you judge a man off his countenance, how he speaks, his actions, his characteristics. So, because that's what you eat spiritually. That's what you take in. You taking in all this bullshit, this music, this these women and all this bullshit. That's what you taking in. That's what's going to protrude out of you, because that's what you live in. So we see if the scriptures is flowing out of you or not, right? This is how I say this all the time. We can tell if brothers is watching, the elders or not, man. All right. Verse 9, he also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. The name of Yahawah is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. You know, and that's the point being of that. So then go back to the ninth verse. Let's read that one more time. He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. You cannot be lazy in this truth. You putting your foot to the plow, well, you got to plant these seeds and you got to meet your quota. You got to go hard. You got to plant and then you got to water, right? When I get off this live, I'm going to go water my garden, right? You know, I have to do that every single day. You have to do this every single day. You got to, you can't, if I leave my plants, if I don't give them water, they're going to be out there breed. Like, I need some water. Your sheep need to get fed every single day, man. You know, in some form or fashion, some type of way. Don't forget the sheep. Don't forget the people that may be listening to you, right? And trying to get some understanding, right? Babes that's coming in, you know, constantly teach, because then what are you doing? You're setting an example of how it's supposed to do. Look at how the elders show us an example. All right, Elder Apostle Hard drops a video every single day, if not two. You know, damn near every single day, man. You know, that's a great example, and we have to follow that example, right? At the end of the day. So, you know, that's it's supposed to trickle down. It's supposed to trickle down. That's what it's supposed to be. I'm gonna get y'all brothers precepts, man. We wrap it up. All right, Matthew 10 and 16, beautiful one. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Exactly. So wisdom has to be applied, right? Yahawashi said, hey, if I wanted to, I could send legions of angels and destroy this place, but I know what I got to do right now. That's what he said. So loosely quoting. So we know what we got to do right now, you know, and we don't got that power, but just saying, we know Bahasham, Yahawashi is with us. So we have to be wise. We know that this place is going to fall. We know this place is falling. Everybody else can't see it, but we can see it. We can understand it, that this place is at the end. It's at the end of its rope. So all we got to do is use that wisdom and endure and hold on to the end. That's what I had to, when I was dealing with a little depression ass demon yesterday, man. I was praying, you know, and enduring. I just got to keep enduring. I just got to keep holding on. This shit is about to be over. It's almost over. It's almost over, right? Keep telling yourself that it's almost over. Keep looking at the prophecies, watching, holding on, and staying faithful. Because Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, his words is faithful and true. He's not lying. He doesn't change. It's going to happen. Although it may tarry, as the book of Hosea says, but it's coming. All right? It's coming very soon, before you know it. All right? Your pod lesson, hey, Halalyam Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, always. You know, and shoot, that's Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you know, that protected her. And her praying and calling on the right names for her to know how to do that. And yeah, ultimately, you know, ultimately it's Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi that put the spirit in me to teach her the names, to teach her the correct way, right? So that when she gets into a situation like that, she knows what to call on. She ain't calling on no damn Jesus, right? All right, so yeah, Halalyam Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, man. You know, for her, for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi placing the spirit in brothers, because hey, as brothers live, and you got a rib for brothers with ribs, then it should trickle off to your wife, because you're leading them, so they're following, so they're gonna take on some of the tendencies of you. That's y'all join as one, right? In the world, your woman would act like you, take on some of the sayings and things you do. How much more in this spiritual thing? You are joined, you understand more now, right? So she takes on more. She follows you better because you are a better leader. This is what you should become in this truth: a better leader, more accountable, a better man. At the end of the day, you should grow. You should have spiritual growth, right? You should look at the old you. I can look at me a year ago and know right now I got better growth. And not saying that to boast or nothing, but that's what every brother has. All right, the brother Nakaf, man, brother has grown so much, you know, and we have grown, and we can see each other's growth in this thing, and that's Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi dealing with us consistently, and the water Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for that, to keep us going, to keep us moving in the right order, and protecting us in every situation that we encounter and go through, because it will be more. It always will be more, you know. Get this last precept. Zechariah 2:8. For thus saith Yahawah of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. That's it. You know, we are the apple of his eye, as King David said, right? So we are precious. The scriptures say precious is the death of his saints. So we are precious in the sight of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And if you don't get nothing else from this lesson, get that. That, hey, if you keeping it, you keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes, you keeping this doctrine, you doing faith, you keeping the faith, and you doing works, you producing, you doing what you're supposed to do, you are precious, man. All right? In the sight of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. He chastises you because he cares about you. Right? Yeah, you don't mess with somebody you don't care about. You just let him go. I don't just let that nigga go, right? But if you care about somebody, you're gonna help them. You know, you gonna, hey bro, you doing it wrong. You know, do this like this. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's why Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi deals with us and chastises us to refine us. Hey, that's it. To refine us, man, and build us up and to make us better, man. Because gold has to be purified a couple times before it's turned into a chain, right? Brother said, science says when you lay and or impregnate your woman, she literally has your her DNA. She takes on pieces of you, you know? So yeah, your women should act like you, in a sense, should take on your ways. If you're a true leader, if you know, she should take on your ways. And that's why also you don't want to get tainted soil. You don't want to get these women that's done laid down with 50 niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because then she taking on the ways of all these other dudes that she done let mess with her. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. That's why this, hey, good point. Good point. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, with that being said, I hope that it was edifying. I hit the point. You know, pray over your family. Pray over your kids. Constantly pray. Constantly become that living sacrifice. And just as Job did, as we read earlier, you know, because you never know what they're doing, all right? And constantly lead correctly and do what you're supposed to do as a man, all right? So, hey, with that being said, all praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone who I do listen to. Shalawam to you, brothers. As always, Kwam Yasharahla, and a Bible bar to this wicked nation. May this bitch fall soon. Shalawam.